And we're back. Sorry about that, guys. And Jake took 5 last turn off of a swing from Mind Sensor and Kitchen Finks, which we missed while the stream was down. Apologies for that. Thanks for bearing with us. And we've got and Oblivion Stone from Jake, which is threatening. Pretty big deal. Obviously, Austin does get to keep the Kitchen Finks off of that because that will be still live, obviously. And then it looks like we're going to tap 2 here for a Voice of Resurgence. Token, pretty good tech. I suppose there are some mainboard options which do exist for the Bant Nightfall deck, such as that, which are obviously pretty good. And looks like Jake arranging here what he's going to... We've got Tower. There is an Ulamog in his hand, which if he gets a mine, he can hardcast. Which, that on the back, yeah, there's an Ancient Stirrings, which if this gets a mine, that's pretty good here. Yep, there we are. So we have a Nulamog, Jake with a very live smirk on his face. Excuse me. And let's see, this will be an interesting turn with Jake at 1. Hey, thanks. Glad you can see chat. I was just about to ask. Thanks for bearing with us for that. And is that a Horizon Canopy in Jake's hand? That's interesting. So I think Jake is actually just dead here, though. He can't Ulamog and blow the Oblivion Stone. So he has to wait here. The attack is obviously going to happen. We're going to get an Aven Mind Sensor swinging in. Kitchen Finks is going to stick around with a -1/-1 counter. There will be a Voice of Resurgence token hitting the board as well. Although those are pretty easy for Jake to answer with this Ulamog. And there is a land from Austin. And he did have another land in hand. Oh, wait, no. Is he down? Looks like 3 cards. So he definitely does have Collected Company in his hand. So I have to feel like in response to the cast trigger, we're going to see a Collected Company here. Because I would think Austin knows that we're going to lose some lands from this Ulamog. Probably a land and the Finks. Or the token, since it scales better. And just to prevent the inevitability, and who knows, he may float the mana and wait for Jake to proceed to combat, and then in response, Collected Company. See, Jake pretty deep in the tank here. We have Tower, Plant, that's 7, so possibly a Karn. We have Mine, that's 6. World Breaker, that's interesting, okay. And then Austin reading Sanctum of Eugene here to see how that's going to work. Debating his response. And World Breaker, still trying to figure out. And Collected Company, there we go. Had to know that was happening in response to the World Breaker trigger. And 6. Alright, so let's see. Kasali Pride Mage and Knight of the Reliquary. That knight is super relevant right now. And getting rid of the Hallowed Fountain, which shuts him off of retreat, actually. Oh, wait. Is that a Botanical Sanctum? So he is actually not off of retreat. But we do fetch new Emrakul, which I am morally opposed to being run in that deck. New Emrakul is just way better. And we have a land for turn there. And Emrakul hitting the board. So we'll get a Mindslaver on Austin's turn here. We'll get the full untap. Reveals an Eternal Witness and draws. Can't quite tell what that is. A retreat, actually. So combo in hand. And I have to think here. It doesn't, though. Unless you're talking about the Emrakul, which definitely does. Obviously, Jake here will play the retreat. Use the Kasali Pride Mage to kill the retreat. Yeah, retreat doesn't get him out, though, because he can... Jake's going to Pride Mage it, presumably. Put it to the graveyard, which delays Austin a turn. Although I suppose with the Time Walk turn, he just swings for lethal. So I think Jake is... Yeah, Jake is just dead here. Because he can't swing all out. He can swing with the Elemental and the Knight. Block those. Oh yeah, I guess that works too. He can... Yeah, the Emmy was pretty clutch. So now we have Eternal Witness and Retreat. You know, he has 2 creatures left, so... It's not actually just over. Although, if Austin top decks a Path here, he just wins. And it did not look like that was a Path. That looked like... Yeah, he did not kill the Retreat. He killed the Knight instead. So... Austin can either Eternal Witness... either way, he's 2 turns away from the combo, which is not enough. He is just dead to that Emrakul before then. I mean, Jake, we know, does have that Ulamog in hand. So if he just casts Ulamog, it's just game over. Jake rearranging his Tron pieces to like types for Austin there. And a single mine made all the difference so far. So we have a Karn, an Ulamog, and a Horizon Canopy in his hand. We'll have Eternal Witness. Be interesting to see what Austin gets here. Leaving the Temple Garden untapped. Going to fetch the Mind Sensor. Okay, so he has a blocker for the Emrakul, should it swing. Right. Although, yeah, I guess Jake just wins here because he Ulamogs, swings with Emrakul, and has blockers left. Oh yeah, that's right. I don't know what that card does. It's not actually Emrakul. It's just a sanctioned proxy that Wizards of the Coast allows to be played in their events. Not a real card. Doesn't count. you know, going back to the discussion earlier about the Tron lists and the potential for bans there, this is the type of game, the type of board state that makes me think Wizards could ban something from the list. Not that they should, just that they could. We'll have the Temple Garden and the E-Witness are now gone. Gonna float some type of mana there, it looks like. And Emrakul swinging in. Jake at 1 life. Actually, this is very precarious for him. I can't think of anything Austin just top decks and, you know, gets it, obviously. But, yeah, I would have just taken out his creatures. I would have held off on the lands. Although, I suppose taking out the lands does prevent a collected company top deck. Austin can't just top deck that and get threats or blockers that just win him the game. Not that, again, there's a whole lot there that can. As we know, he has retreat in hand. Yeah, and there we go. We're off to game 2 then. Jake taking that one down. And that was the type of game where it appears that one deck is just in charge the whole time, and then all of a sudden the door just gets closed, slammed shut on the deck, and you see Tron do what it does. From a position where the deck was clearly behind and was not well positioned to win, sticks a threat, and all of a sudden, boom, game over. On to the next one, so to speak. Naveen, why haven't you made it out for any events except for Pauper? Not that I'm mad. Pauper was great. And sideboard options here. Jake, I know, is on natural state because he borrowed them from me. I have to think that comes in here. He also was, if he could track down some fire spouts, he was planning on running fire spouts, which also definitely come in. Yeah, no, that's fine. Totally get you. I think the Pride Mages obviously stay in. As far as what Austin takes out, if he has any main deck scoozes, I think those come out. I think the Eternal Witnesses might come out, because if you are in a game against Tron where Eternal Witness is the card you need, you are definitely losing that game as Bant Nightfall. I just can't imagine a board state where that's what you want to be doing. Casting that is your way out. See Austin on the play here as well. I did watch one of his games, round 1, where he did just do the Bant Nightfall thing and just effectively storm out, which I think is always fun to watch. Not everybody shares that fondness. I totally get it. Not great for everyone. I just like the axis that the deck operates on. See, get him back to 20, and it looks like we're just about off here. Going to be resolving some mulligans, obviously. Also, I do want to let everyone watching the stream know we do have an event planned for Mardi Gras. We're doing Nerdy Gras. So it will be, it's a ticketed event. It is $50, which, yes, is expensive, but It gets you access to the building all day. It gets you 2 free beers from the bar. And we have a cosplay contest that we are doing, as well as DJs that will be spinning from 12 noon until 1 a.m. Last call. So if you happen to be in the area, swing on by with your tickets. We will be opening the doors at some point to everyone. That'll be a little bit later in the night. So if you want to get in early and just have a quiet-ish experience to start your Mardi Gras off, I definitely recommend swinging by for that. Going to be a ton of fun. And see, we've got turn 1 on the way for both of them. Botanical Sanctum Birds, Mine Expedition Map. I see a tower in Jake's hand as well. There's a Misty Rainforest. And we could just see the turn 3 Karn here. Not super fun for a lot of people to interact with. Oof. That is brutal. Have the Upkeep Mind Sensor from Austin. And obviously, one of the better cards he could have played there. And mine. So, Jake has Natural Tron in his hand, which is kind of a beating here. Granted, he has to have some type of threat to back it up, but I don't think that's super relevant. Yeah, I definitely agree. It does seem loose there. The obvious play, definitely wait till he cracks the map. Don't show it to him if you can avoid it. So. And Tower Star, play Crackit, which is interesting. I mean, I guess that's what you do, and you might have a Stirrings or another star. Wow. And still has one floating, Crackit again. And pass. Excuse me. And sorry, there is a Karn. There is a Karn, 2 Karns in Jake's hand. So. This game is pretty early, I feel like, just going to get out of hand. Having the double Karn is just rough. Jake, messing that up a little bit there. You do have to tap your lands in order to play your spells. Not quite how that works. We've got Karn, have to assume grabbing a Finks here. You can afford to just use it as removal. No, actually, plussing. All right, so we are all aboard the reboot train here. And we're going to swing 6 towards the Karn. Effectively, fog for 2 turns. And Tireless Tracker is definitely one of my favorite threats in the format. I have sung its praises high. It gives card advantage and draw to any deck that needs it, which is great. We're going to grab another card from his hand, and it's a Reflector Mage. That's actually a really good card here. Well, maybe not. And Worm Coil Engine. That would have been great. And a Grove. So Worm Coil, not quite what Austin wanted to see on the other side, especially with no hand now. Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Naveed. I definitely think that was the right play. So we have a Clue token here. We're going to crack a fetch land for a basic, it looks like. Tap 2 to spend 1 clue token to investigate. See what sort of knowledge he gains from said investigation. And looks like he might actually investigate again, which is fairly desperate. And passing, okay. Chromatic Star from Jake, which we will crack right away. Draw a card. We're going to plus minus actually Karn to hit the Tireless Tracker. Should be exiled under him. Definitely the right move there, because if there was something that could draw him out of this, it was definitely that. And Austin reading how bad off he is from that Karn. And cracks another star. Chromatic Sphere. We're just going to chain all of the chromatic cards that we can. Yeah, this game is definitely over. That is an accurate synopsis, I should say. Well, Collected Company is a decent magical card. We get a Pride Mage and a whiff. Oof. That feels real bad. Going to investigate again. And we've got a double land for Austin. So I would have to feel like he's going to crack the Pride Mage here and just trade with the 2 tokens. Well, I guess we can swing in at Karn in the air and get him down to 4. And that's another tower, so Jake, it's basically ripping nothing but Tron pieces and lands. Still has that other Karn in his hand, but I have to assume eventually he's just going to run out of lands to draw and just get nothing but gas for the rest of the game. We've got 3 tower, 2 mine, 1 power plant, relevant information there. Austin finally dipping below 20 since that first turn. This is pretty much just done now. Especially with that other Karn in Jake's hand, which granted, Austin doesn't know about, but is relevant. We've got Anthony Death Touch Eason and Anthony Lifelink Eason on the battlefield now for Jake. And we're pretty close to a Karn alt here, although we may just start negative and start swinging now that there's just 1 Finks on the board. No Exalted for the bird. I think this is going to pretty quickly achieve a resolution here. Stomping Ground is interesting. I have to wonder, I feel like maybe Blood Moon, but that's not really super good in this matchup. But maybe Blood Moon was boarded in. I must admit I have not exactly kept up with the evolutions of Bant Nightfall over the last few months, so it's possible maybe Blood Sun or something like that could be in there. And there we go. The last threat from Austin is gone, so Jake gonna start swinging in with these Death Touchers and these Life Linkers. Down to 12 for Austin and up to 20 for Jake. And a stony silence. Yeah, I know the Tron players are. Jake actually has it in his sideboard. I was just curious on Austin where the stomping ground came from. Oh, yeah. Yeah, fair. Yeah. That is a very fair point, Stephen. Kessig is real good when you need the extra reach. Being able to just float your triggers through that to trample out your... Yeah. To trample out the knight rather than have to rely on getting Sajiri, which felt bad when you had it in your hand and couldn't tutor for it, obviously. So we're going to go down to 6 then for Austin. Another Grove. No mercy from Jake, not tapping those Groves to give Austin life, prolong the inevitable. We're going to get another Pride Mage here. And Pride Mage kills the Life Linker. Austin down to 3 now. And scooping him up. Red-Green Tron doing Red-Green Tron things, taking that game down 2 games to none. And as we had discussed earlier, Tron, not that I think it should, Tron is the one deck that I could see Wizards banning something from, specifically because of how they view Modern, how they want the game to be played. They've said, you know, they want to emphasize more aggro decks, and decks that stifle that aren't really something they want. That said, Standard was what it was for the last year and a half because of that design decision. So we'll see. One moment.